The City of Lloydminster is examining its membership in the Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association with the decision of renewal on the horizon. Despite Lloydminster's long-standing role within the organization, loss of other members has some questioning whether membership is still worthwhile. Josh Ryan has more.
Lloydminster has been part of the Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association since 1992. However, Councillor Aaron Buckingham brought forward the question of whether renewing the city's annual $5,000 commitment to the group was worth it.
May not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of a huge budget that the city runs. However, there are other organizations that have currently approached us about being a part of their organization that possibly we could reinvest that money in there.
Member communities span along the highway from Manitoba to BC, promoting development, maintenance, and use of the Yellowhead corridor.
I appreciate the efforts that's gone on that got us to a 4-lane highway on both sides of our city. We're very fortunate we can drive for many miles on a 4-lane highway.
However, the departure of several members in recent years puts the future functionality of the association in question.
You know, my concern is all of the signs are pointing towards this being an organization that may not be a going concern moving forward, and whether or not the city wants to put its efforts and money into that.
The fundamental question is whether the benefit of remaining a member is more important than directing those resources to something with more immediate impact.
Do we then reinvest that money in a local group or local area that's going to develop more specific to here? There's pros and cons on both sides.
For now, more information is being gathered on the current state of the association, which will be discussed in the coming weeks.
If this is an advocacy group, what can it do for us, but what can we do for it as well to, you know, kind of lift all ships in this situation?
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
And a lifelong champion of animal handling may never have found her calling if she was not treated for autism from an early age.
But a little bit of the trait gives you this microphone that we're using right now to talk on.
That's the humor of Dr. Temple Grandin, who lectures at Colorado State University. She was in Bonnyville recently for 2 presentations.
The mistake that was often made. Autism varies from Einstein, Mozart, and Thomas Edison to somebody who cannot dress themselves. They changed the diagnostic guideline in 2013, merged the Asperger's, which is mild autism with no speech delay altogether.
Grandin says she was in early intervention by 2.5 years old, but did not start speaking until she was 4. She was introduced to cattle as a teen and stuck with animals, going on to design handling facilities and techniques to reduce animal stress.
Everything I think about is a picture. No picture, no thought. And a lot of people that are good with animals are visual thinkers. When I was young and I first started, I did not know that other people were not visual thinkers. It's been an interesting journey for me learning this. I discussed this in 2 of my books, Thinking in Pictures and The Autistic Brain.
Grandin says even Steve Jobs, who visualized the interface of the iPhone, left it to engineers to figure out how to make it work. She recommends early diagnosis in the treatment of developmental issues. Well, a Lloydminster dentist's annual trip to a foreign country had more people than usual tag along this year. Ryan Craig has the details.
Dr. Neki Jamal has been traveling to foreign countries for 10 years now, providing dental care for those who aren't fortunate enough to receive it.
We went with a group out of Edmonton, Change for Children. I'm one of their dental leaders, and we helped plan a trip to Comitancio, Guatemala, which is up in the highlands in Guatemala. It's very interesting because they don't even speak Spanish there, and we all prepared to get in there with our Spanish sentences, and we practiced when we left. And we get there, and they speak a Mayan language called Mam.
Language barriers presented challenges for the Change for Children group. However, this year, there were more helping hands available than in the past.
Our patients came down, and for me, the most important part was bringing a part of my team down there. I come back from these trips and I always talk about how amazing it is, and then they get back here and they just don't understand. And for them to see it all firsthand, I know it left a piece of them down there as well.
Not only did the trip provide aid for some less fortunate, but it provided many who journeyed south with the group a new outlook.
I think just being able to be there and help people and understanding the reality in which they live their life made a huge impact for me. We live really privileged lives, and so it was really amazing to see that they really do need our help, and we are able to help them.
It just makes it all worthwhile knowing that if we can impact someone's day and someone's now, well, we've really made the difference then.
If you are interested in making a difference, contact Dr. Jamal or the Wayside Dental Center. Ryan Craig, Newcap News.
Well, our schools are filled with the next generation of bright minds that we all hope will make the world a better place, but it takes great teachers who provide the right tools to help shape students into contributing citizens in society. As Michaela Henschel reports in this week's Beyond the Classroom, a local teacher is being recognized on a provincial level for her efforts.
What started out as a regular singing practice at Father Gorman School quickly turned into an unforgettable afternoon for grade 1 teacher, Mrs. McKenzie.
C is for caring. Mrs. McKenzie cares so much about each and every one of us.
In front of the whole school, she was unexpectedly awarded with the Excellence in Catholic Education Award.
I didn't even know how to react. I was just very overwhelmed, honored, very, very honored, and very appreciative.
The award recognizes teachers from across Alberta that make a difference in the lives of their students. For many students in and out of her classroom, Mrs. McKenzie has been the driving force of the Kindness Wins initiative.
It's why I do what I do. This is my passion. Teaching is my passion, and so to be recognized for something that I love and that, is just very rewarding.
It showcases the many wonderful things that are happening in our school and how it's about our faith and how we make connections with the students, and she's been a real good example of that. It's through her guidance and her compassion that she's really built up her students.
What makes Mrs. McKenzie stand out is her ability to incorporate lessons of compassion and kindness in the classroom, teaching her students that life skills are just as important as the academic aspect.
She not only is looking after their academic needs, she's trying to make them better people, which impacts all of us throughout the school, at home, in the community, everywhere. She's born to teach.
I'm trying to be the teacher that I maybe needed or other people might need. And so just to let them know that there's always someone there to help them and that there are simple ways that you can build people up and just kind of really encouraging positivity.
Michaela Henschel, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, for those familiar with Lakeland Wrestlers athletics, the name Austin Dyer is well known and respected. But he's not the only coach on the Lakeland bench during volleyball games. Lance Phillips introduces us to his second in command and a coach who's taking the lessons he has learned and forging his own path.
Coaching collegiate level players may seem like a daunting task, but being around that kind of skill can make the process of coaching a younger team tough. And that's exactly what Ryan Lang is working through. Lang's the assistant coach for Lakeland College's women's volleyball team, and 2 weeks ago won a bronze at Canadian Championships. With that season finished, his attention fully turns to his head coaching duties for the Wrestlers 18U program.
So big adjustment for me. So we're in Grand Prairie at Nationals playing the best college girls in the country, and now I show up to the Wrestlers Club, or pardon me, the Second Cess Cup, and you know what, it's adjustment for our players and it's adjustment for me as coaching.
On his Wrestlers Club team are 3 red shirts from the Lakeland program, meaning those players have had a chance to see the differences between both Lang and Lakeland head coach Austin Dyer.
He's a little more goofy, I guess how you'd explain it. Austin's like serious, like we gotta win and compete hard, and Ryan the same way, but he just goes about it differently, like more fun.
He's someone who can look to on the bench, like if you're feeling lost, and I think he's there and he knows exactly what to say to you depending on who the player is.
So Austin's done a very good job with always debriefing with me, answering any questions after matches, after a win, after a loss, and he's always taught me to find positives even when things aren't going well. And so today we had spurts where we were down 7-0, and I was able to help my team turn that around.
Many of the challenges between collegiate and club level are obvious, but for Lang, it's about having fun with his young crew while moving forward, forging his own path. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
This is Newcap weather with Gerard Lampa.
Welcome back, everyone. So spring snowstorm, after all, March is not done yet, and that's what we are dealing with. Snowfall warnings and anywhere from 10 to 15 centimeters. The models are still saying maybe a centimeter possible or two on Thursday evening. The bulk of it looks like after 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. Friday morning, and going through the morning commute and tapering off as Friday goes along and finishing off maybe Saturday afternoon. So let's look at the next 24 hours before we get too far ahead of ourselves, because folks are talking about all kinds of travel plans. And as we've been seeing for the last little while, we're stuck with the cloud cover. There's some sunny breaks, but with this, we will see the cloud cover building up. This is going to 6 o'clock Thursday, tomorrow afternoon. So factor in the QE2 is somewhere along here, and we'll probably see some of it crossing in the red area before it pushes into areas just off of Edmonton or thereabouts. It hasn't reached in our neck of the woods yet. I'm thinking at least we'll get through the bulk of the night until about 3 o'clock early Friday morning thereabouts. Let's look at it temperature-wise, and still we're not doing too bad at all. Couple of 4s in there for Cold Lake, Pierceland into Meadow Lake areas. Lac-La-Biche could see 4 as well. 1 for Edmonton, Vegreville, a string of 0s around Vermilion, ourselves, Wainwright, 1 for Provost and Macklin areas. And off to the northeast, 4 in Green Lake, 1 in Isle Cross, 1 in St. Walburg, a couple 0s around Maidstone and the Battleford areas. Let's head across the country to Vancouver, a mix of sun and cloud. And again, we'll see conditions change out there, sitting at 10 at the moment. -7 in White Horse, +3 in Edmonton, -14 clear skies in Yellowknife, clear skies in Regina for -1, overcast in Winnipeg for +1, and as we head to Toronto, also +1 there, -2 in Quebec, -1 in Halifax, 0 in St. John's, and -18 with ice crystals in Iqaluit. So back on the prairies, stopping in the Battlefords, -1 with lots of sunshine available, -5 to the early hours of tomorrow morning. Looking for 0 as the day goes along. Expect the wind to pick up anywhere from 20, 30, 45 kilometers per hour out of the east and the southeast with this system. Snowfall warnings for parts of the Lakeland region, -1 and overcast at the moment, -4 in the early hours of the morning, and +4 tomorrow, and expect the clouds to begin to push on in there and the wind as well to pick up out of the east and sometimes southeast, anywhere from about 20 to 25 and we'll certainly see a gust between 30 and 35 and picking up as we head on into the weekend. 0 for ourselves at the moment, got to +1, -5 is possible overnight. Expect again the wind to pick up anywhere from 20, 30, approaching 45 and a gust or 2 certainly in the 45 to 50 range as we get on into Friday proper. Some of the stronger gusts could be around the noon hour on Friday. Friday we're expecting +1, so some of this will certainly melt, but some of it will stick, we can be sure of that. 0 on Thursday, 1 on Friday, -1 on Saturday when things hopefully begin to taper off just a bit. -3 Sunday, -2 Monday, +4 on Tuesday. So by the time we get to the start of the work week, probably a fair amount of it will melt off. The issue is while it's coming down with that wind, blowing snow, affecting visibility, just how far ahead you can see if you may have travel plans to one of the major cities there. Probably rethink those travel plans or leave at a different time. That's the reality of it at the moment, Brian, and it's back to you now for Agriculture News.